There we go. Now we have sound. Welcome back. I am trying to make dinner rolls now, which I'm using a bao recipe for. And I'm on a bit of a time crunch because I really didn't think that finishing the dessert was going to take that long. Thank goodness I did as much as I did last night. Otherwise I'd be way behind schedule, which stressing out over time and scheduling really shouldn't be the point of any of this. So I'm not going to stress out over it. I am just going to be doing what I do and we will get there. So at any rate, I needed to warm up some milk for my yeast, and I have done that, and this milk feels warm, and I'm gonna hope that it doesn't scald my yeast because that's a thing. And you're supposed to use a meat thermometer to make sure that it's not too hot. I still don't like that temperature though. So I am going to move on to something else. I'm gonna let it continue to cool. So I'm gonna combine all my dry ingredients. Let's see how much flour. I feel like these guys call for a whole lot of flour. 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. All right, I can do that. That's a 3-quart. Where's my cup? Where's my 1 cup at? There it is. All right. So, yes, this is a bao recipe, which means that they are meant to be steamed, not baked. But when I went to make these, I quickly realized that the steam basket I have is too small for the pot that I have. And because of that, God, I destroyed this all-purpose flour bag. I don't know how to open this thing without destroying it, but it is ruined. Anyway, I'm going to use a lot of flour anyway, so I can make up a better way to store it. Anywho, yeah, so I was making the bao, and I made it up, and I was super happy and proud of it. And I discovered that my steam basket was too small for my pot, which essentially means that I had no way of steaming the bao. And it's not really the right texture if you don't steam it. So I just went ahead and baked it, and it turned out really good actually. It was yummy, and I it turned out really good, and I was like, you know what, these would make a solid dinner roll. And so that's where the inspiration came from. I was like, you know what, I am going to just make these plain next time and see how they turn out. So here is my 2.5 cups of flour. And then, let's see, what's the next dry ingredient I need to add in here? So it's gonna say, combined flour, cornstarch. How much cornstarch do I need? 1/2 cup of cornstarch. That's intense. I don't know how much cornstarch I have left. I intended to do a double batch of these, but if I ain't got the ingredients for it, I ain't gonna be able to do that. Let's see. Let me double check that 1/2 cup is in fact what they want, because that does seem like a lot. Let's see. Cornstarch, 1/2 cup. I am not imagining things. So I'm gonna try and record it this time. Still trying to get good Instagram footage. That is the life that I live. That is 1/2 cup of cornstarch, ladies and gents. We have our cornstarch, we have our flour. Who's next in the dry ingredient pile? Baking powder. Baking powder is next. How much baking powder do you want? 1/2 of a teaspoon of baking powder. Such a minute amount. What's the point at that point? 1/2 a teaspoon baking powder. Where you at? Powder, not soda, right? Powder. Baking powder, 1/2 a teaspoon of powder. I keep double checking my recipes because I am just Mr. Double checking everything right now. And then let us get a shot of that going in. Trying to get tons of footage out of these small little events. And all right, who's next? Baking powder's in there, and we're gonna put some sugar, sugar, 1/4 cup of sugar. I definitely have 1/4 cup of sugar. I bought more sugar because I was afraid that I was gonna run out of sugar making all these desserts and things, that I bought more sugar. Where's my sugar at though? Sugar, sugar, where you at, girl? I am at a loss for my sugar. I have a brand new thing of sugar that I could use, but I know I've got an open thing of sugar somewhere. Where is my regular sugar? I'm gonna be upset with myself if I don't find it. Oh, here it is, I see it. I already sat it out for myself. I just wasn't seeing it. All right, put 1/4 cup of sugar in there. 1/4 cup of sugar in, I just spilled it all over the place. All right, 1/4 cup of sugar. So now, who's the next guy on my list? All right, baking powder, sugar, and salt. How much salt do I need? I feel like I just need like 2 teaspoons of salt. All right. Where's my salt? Excuse me. That was intense, like camping. All right, I need 2 teaspoons of salt. That is a tablespoon. 1 teaspoon. All right. Oh, come on. My salt spigot's not being very friendly right now. 1 teaspoon. All right, and we're about to do a 2nd teaspoon, but I'm gonna film this one. 2nd teaspoon of salt. All right, so we got our dry ingredients in. Let's feel our milk and see if it's ready for yeast yet. It's close, it's very close. I'm going to go ahead and stir this stuff up. And yes, I'm going to try and get it another Instagram shot while doing it. Stirring works kind of well. The bowl tends to move on its own when you're trying to get a good stirring shot. All right, now let's get for realsies. Let's get for realsies and combine all the dry ingredients. I am really hoping that this turns out. I just made a giant mess with my flour. What a mess I am making. I did it again. All right, I feel like I got more stuff on the countertop than I do in the bowl at this point. Alrighty then. All right. I wonder if they put into account, like, some of this stuff is going to fly over your bowl. I hope so, because that's most certainly what happened to me. All right. I need something to open this with. Some scissors. I'm gonna put the yeast in the milk, and we're gonna let it start doing its thing. See if it's activated. And if it does get activated, then we did good stuff. I wonder how hot it is. Really nervous about this milk right now, if you can't tell. Ugh. Well, I will say last time, I think I messed the milk up and it didn't rise or do anything, so I think it killed the yeast, and it still turned out great. So I'm gonna stick it in there and we're gonna see what happens. Yeast. Live, yeast, live. Do not die. I wonder if I'm supposed to, ooh, let's not stir it too much. I don't want it to get all crazy like. Let's see, milk, allow to rest for 5 minutes. So the yeast has I gotta rest for at least 5 minutes is what it's saying. And I'm gonna try and do a mild stir, and then I will leave it alone. I think while I do this, I think I'm going to clean my mixer because, let me think about this. Will it be easier or better to mix this in a stand-up mixer than it would be to mix it in a bowl? The only issue with the bowl is I just keep making a big old mess. But that's just kind of part of it, I guess. And I don't know. My yeast don't look all that bubbly. So, I feel like this is not an entertaining video at all. This was supposed to be exciting, and I feel like when I made the dessert, it was really exciting, but right now I'm just like discombobulated. I'm all over the place. I'm trying to make something, trying to make several somethings at the same time. So, if this is not a successful video, I at least understand why, because it just, ain't doing it for me. But at any rate, what are you guys making for the holidays? I've got the dessert that I already made, which is that multi-layered extravaganza. And I've got this here that I'm trying to make, these bows, dinner roll things. What are you guys making for everybody? What are you gonna make? Alright, well, therein lies the rub, is there's a lot of sitting and waiting when you're making bread. And like I've got to sit and wait for, well, the yeast looks like it might be doing something. Maybe I didn't kill it. Maybe it lives. Alright, so I've combined the dry ingredients, and now I need to, after this yeast does its thing, I need to combine the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients. I'm trying to remember. I feel like last time I did this in the mixer, part the way there, and then I did it in the by hand the rest of the way. Alright, increase the speed, add the butter slowly. It wants me to slowly add, how much butter do I need to add to this thing? Baking powder, sugar, kosher, unsalted butter, 2 tablespoons. That's not even that much butter, so I can do that. That's fine. How does our yeast look? It looks like it's doing something. It's all yeasty. I think I am going to clean my mixer. I think I will do that. And the goal here is, because I'm afraid if I mix this yeast by hand, it's not going to mix quite right. So let's go ahead and get this mixer going again. I didn't start my dishwasher because I didn't want all the noise of the dishwasher going while I was trying to record. But it probably would help the awkwardness because I feel like this recording is just not going well. Sometimes you can just feel it. And I feel like my flow state is not flowing. And I'm just talking and I'm sinking my thoughts into nonsensical things. We're gonna make some biscuits and they're gonna be good. Dinner rolls. Stop calling them biscuits. I'm gonna make some dinner rolls and they are gonna be good. And you all, this is like the kind of episode where I need a guest. I need somebody to spark some conversation with me. What are we talking about other than these dinner rolls that I'm trying to make? The fact that I'm cooking under a time crunch and you should let time crunches get to the better of you while you're trying to make food, because you should just take your time and enjoy it. My dad, my mom and I used to watch the show Chopped a lot, and I still think it's a fun show. My dad never liked it because he was like, cooking shouldn't be this over-the-top competition. You should just cook a meal and enjoy it. And I thought that was an opinion exclusive to him, but then like I met someone else at work who thought the same thing about that very same show. And I was like, wow, it's like a popular owned opinion. People do not think that you should have to cook under pressure, and that's cool. But at any rate, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm cooking under pressure. Under pressure. Because eventually, this is gonna have to sit for 2 hours. And then I'm gonna have to go get more yeast and do this whole thing over again. And then at that point, I'll be ready to bake it. And then once it's baked, it's done. And I can say that it turned out well, I hope. Because the other thing with this recipe is it doesn't have any baking instructions because it's bao and it's supposed to be steamed. And the first time I did it, it turned out so well and so wonderful that, of course, now I'm like, oh, it's gonna just be just as great. But I'm nervous as can be and I'm falling apart at the seams. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. But that's okay. It'll turn out just fine. Just fine. All right, so I'm gonna transfer these dry ingredients to the mixer bowl because I feel like the mixer bowl is more qualified to handle this than the bowl I was using. Plus, I feel more better about mixing this with a machine than I do by hand when it comes to dealing with sensitive ingredients such as that one thing I'm dealing with. Yeast. All right. Cool. I think I'm going to try and scoop up some of this ingredients too. And if y'all are like, oh no, why'd you do that? Too bad. I did it. It happened. I cleaned the surface and I hate wasting ingredients. So there you go. All right. Now let us make some we're gonna blend this stuff again. Get some dinner rolls going. Ooh, oh, maybe not. I always struggle to get these silly things on here. I should move this blender so you guys can see it, so that you guys aren't just sitting here like, what the heck is you doing? I am right now attaching the little spokes to the blender. I'm gonna move it over here to my play surface so y'all can see it. And let's see here. Plug in, please. There we go. So, move this down here. We'll put it on low. That's what I did last time. And then you scrape the sides every now and again to make sure that everybody's being included. I'm just going to tap the sides right now because I don't have the tool handy. I'm gonna get some good Insta footage for here. Blah, 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 blah. There, and it's spinning on its own, kind of. It needs a little bit of assistance. All right, time to add the wet ingredients. That being this yeast. Yeast! All right. Yeast to become active, combine flour, cornstarch, blah, 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 blah. Slowly mix the liquid in with the flour at a low speed. That's where we are. So, we're gonna do this number again. Blow this off. And we're gonna slowly pour in the liquid mixture. At a slow speed. It's starting to struggle a bit. Can you hear it? I don't know if y'all can hear it, but whoa. All right, calm down there, Nelly. Scrape the sides, scrape the sides, scrape the sides, scrape the sides. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to transfer this right back into that hand bowl. Yeah, and I think this is what happened last time, is it just was not doing its best. Sometimes you just gotta do it by hand. I feel like I keep saying that. All right, I like playing the drums, what can I say? All right, so we are now combining this, and I think I'm gonna have to add more milk to it. That's what I had to do last time. What does it say? Combine, mix until it comes together, increase the speed while dough begins to knead. Knead the dough for 5 minutes. If the dough is too sticky, add 1 tablespoon of flour at a time. If it's too dry, add a tablespoon of milk at a time. Transfer to an oiled thing. Yeah, I think it's gonna need more milk. This does not look very well combined at all. It looks clumpy and lumpy and lame. So let's see. Mix until it all comes together. It's not coming together. Where's my milk? All right. And this is where the magic happens. Fold in some more milk and see if it starts to turn into something a little more resembling dough and less resembling flour. All right, it's starting to come together a little bit better now. Getting there. We're getting there, Bessie. More milk, you say? I think I need more milk. It's getting to the point where I need to start thinking about adding the butter to it too. I don't know that my butter is room temperature enough for it. This is getting close to what it needs to be. Still not quite what it needs to be, but it's getting closer. Now we're getting somewhere with this. Oh, Lordy. My hands are killing me. But it's worth it, I think. All right, I need to really consider getting some of this butter in here now. So, let me, it's still pretty firm. I'm gonna have to stick it in this oven for a good while. It's gonna have to learn how to get less firm real fast. I'm supposed to use room temperature butter Unfortunately, I did not have the foresight to sit the butter out until after I was sitting at everything else. And then I was like, oh, I probably should have sat that out a lot sooner. But I'm just going to stick her in the oven for a little bit and let her soften herself out. And then once she's nice and ready to play, I'll take those 2 tablespoons, add them to the dough, play with it some more, transfer it to a well-oiled bowl, let it sit for 2 hours, go and get the other things that I need. Ugh. This butter is still firm. Come on, girl. Ain't got time for you. How are you sitting on a heat coil in an oven, still being firm as can be? That don't make no sense. Hooey. Huh. I'm gonna use a pan or a bowl to try and cook this for a little bit. Alrighty then. Let's go look at this. I am going to probably edit the ever-living crap out of this video. I feel like it's the worst thing I have ever done. Like, these other videos I make, I'm like, you know, these are probably not the most entertaining videos ever, but something about this one, I'm just like, this sucks. This was supposed to be the main course. Everybody's supposed to be clamoring over this dinner roll video. And I'm over here like, this video is not entertaining. It is barely even a video. Trying to melt some butter right now. And, well, I'm actually not really trying to melt it. I'm just trying to get it warm enough to do its thing. What do we do after we add butter to it? While the dough begins to knead, add the butter slowly. Knead the butter for 5 minutes. If the dough is too sticky, add flour. If it's too dry, add milk. Transfer to an oiled bowl, cover, and let rest for 2 hours or until it has doubled in size. So, let's see here. This butter being real stubborn. Like, are we done? You've started melting. Are you soft enough to manipulate? Not really. And this is why you really, really, really need to make sure that you sit your butter out in plenty of time before your recipe. Because it's not going to sit in this here mixture right if it's too hard. It's not going to sit in it right if it's all melted either, though. It's supposed to be a whole stick of butter. So I gotta keep playing with it to see if it's coming together right or not. I don't know that it is. Like, maybe if I clump it out. Yeah, that core of the butter is still very, very cold and hard and buttery. Cold and hard and buttery. That is a description of the ages. I think I'm going to just put music to the backdrop of this one. But I feel like you guys are just watching a whole lot of nothing going on right now because I've spent a lot of time over here by the oven and I'm not over here entertaining my guests. And I am being a terrible sous chef right now. And this is like the worst cooking video known to man. Let's just hope that the food speaks for itself, shall we? And so after I get done mixing this whole thing up, I'm gonna have to get my hands in there here shortly. And when I get done with that, I'm gonna need a bowl, a well-oiled bowl to sit the dough in. It's the same chunk of butter. This butter is going to be the doom of me. It's going to be my end. And that's the thing with it being as cold as it is. Like, it's not going to... I'm not going to get it room temperature for a good while because it's so cold that it's going to take it a good while to actually soften up properly. Anyway, we are going to be patient. We're going to wait for this butter to be cooperative because cold butter is not going to do anything but just sit in the recipe and make things weird. And we don't like making things weird around here, do we? Nah, we don't. I'm going to close this cabinet. Butter. Well, I think it started melting down yet. If I can easily play with it, then I think it's ready for combining, but I don't know. It still feels firm enough to be stubborn. I am running into every potential problem with this recipe right now. You guys, this is like that magic show that masked magician did when he was supposed to be pulling a card, and he's like, pick a card, any card, I'll pull it and guess it, or whatever he was supposed to do. And he clearly messed the thing up and didn't know what the heck he was doing. And so then it was just the most awkward video ever. It's like, that's what this is gonna be. This is like when the chef goes on live television and messes up the recipe, and then they have to try and improvise and make it go well, except for this isn't live television and I can just splice out all the bad parts if I want to. I don't know if I'm going to or not, but we are proceeding on with the butter, and it's not going super well. All right, I think I'm done with this spoon. I think I am going to use my hands. I have a feeling this is going to be super sticky because I added all that stuff to it. But we are going to work with it. And we're going to get it where it needs to be. Where it needs to be. This towel is about on its last leg. I feel like it's just as wet as my hands are anymore. All right, let's oil this sucker. Pam, where's my Pam? There's my Pam. A well-oiled bowl. All right, let's get in here. Stop playing this silly game. Start playing with the dough. Yeah, dough. Come here, you. Yeah, it's definitely got a good amount of stickiness to it. But it is a good old ball of dough. I don't know if y'all can see that very well, but we are playing with dough right now. Kind of kneading it, kind of not. Really just trying to get it formed into one big old clump. And then once it's in its good little shape, I'm going to transfer it to this oiled bowl where it should technically sit for several hours. At least 2 hours is what it says. And from there, look at this pretty little ball of dough. I'm going to drop this and make a fool of myself. Yeah. All right. nothing and you check for free. You got to install microwave oven and custom kitchen delivery. You've got to move these refrigerators. Got to move these color TVs. That's the way you do it. You play your guitar on the MTV. That ain't working. can play. Nation, ocean, turning on the nighttime into the day. Nearly on the line, and then talking about design. And do the walk of life. Do the walk of life.